I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead.
Watching Mad Max Fury Road when it came out in theaters 10 years ago, I couldn't stop thinking about this. This is a tube for blood, it's a blood tube. Okay, you know what? Let's go over the plot really quickly and it'll make more sense. And fair warning, I will be spoiling Mad Max Fury Road. And with that said, grab a cup of milk and get your tetanus shot, because we are going to dive into the rusty, clunky, chromy world of Mad Max. The main baddie is Immortan Joe, a cult leader with a pustular body, a harem, and an army of war boys who lives in the Citadel. The Citadel is a fortress built into a rock formation that is the only source of fresh water and fresh food that we see in this land. Resources that are under Immortan Joe's control. But in order to understand what the story of this movie is about, we have to observe the arcs of the three main protagonists, the eponymous Max, Furiosa, and Nux. So we have a post-apocalyptic world and Mad Max is out there being a lone wolf, driving across the wasteland until he's set upon by a roving gang of Immortan's war boys. He's taken into the Citadel and strung up and branded, and we see that Nux is taking his blood, as Nux has cancer and is using Max's clean blood to purify and strengthen himself. We should also note that Max is a universal blood donor. This is important. Furiosa is Immortan's lieutenant, but she escapes with Immortan's prized wives in her war rig, with the intention of taking them to the green place that she remembers from her childhood.
Treason! Betrayal! An imperator gone rogue!
Immortan, incensed by Furiosa's betrayal, sends his war boys after them to capture them. So Nux joins this pursuit with his trophy, Max. Now here's the thing, while Nux pursues Furiosa, he attaches Max to the hood of his car and continues to siphon his blood. Nux is dying and wants to go out in a blaze of glory serving Immortan, and he cannot do that without his blood bag. Even if Nux weren't dying, his kind, the war boys, have all been indoctrinated to believe that sacrificing themselves for Immortan Joe is a high honor that will grant them entry into heaven.
No! I am awaited! I am awaited in Valhalla!
So this is how Max, Nux, and Furiosa all converge towards the same event. The chase ends with our three protagonists facing off. Max and Furiosa reach an understanding and work together, but Nux, still hoping to be rewarded for capturing Furiosa, is left behind. Nux is then entrusted by Immortan to kill Furiosa, which he fails spectacularly. And he's humiliated, loses his faith, and smuggles himself on board Furiosa's war rig, where he, with the help of Immortan's wife, Capable, sheds his old beliefs and allies himself with Furiosa and Max. Our protagonists lose their tail and meet up with the women who are the inhabitants of the Green Place, but they are told that the Green Place doesn't exist anymore. This news disappoints Furiosa, to say the least. Max persuades them to head back to the Citadel because that's a place where they are guaranteed to find water and vegetation.
They're going back to the Citadel! They know it's undefended!
This leads them to a head-to-head confrontation with Immortan's army, and after a lot of shenanigans that involve Immortan's death at the hands of Furiosa, and Nux sacrificing himself to help his newfound friends, Furiosa is badly injured and Max saves her by giving her his blood, since he's a universal donor, and our heroes head back to the Citadel where Furiosa presumably becomes their new leader. So, what did we just watch? Was this just a well-made action movie, or is there more? To figure this out, we need to look at the arcs of our three protagonists, and this is where that tube comes in. It always bothered me that Max coiled up this tube and kept it with him, and in many scenes it's prominent and sometimes it even blocks his face. The costume designers didn't need to do this, except he will need this tube to give his blood to Furiosa when she is wounded in the final battle. This tube is important and is crucial to the theme of the movie. Max starts the movie with having his blood taken from him and ends with him willingly giving it to Furiosa. It is not about the blood itself, as his blood was keeping Nux alive too, but rather about Max having the power to choose to give it away versus having his blood taken from him coercively. Nux has a very similar arc. See, he starts the movie with a mad zeal to give his life up for Immortan Joe. It's what Nux believes is a great and noble way to die. But once he's deprogrammed and is able to think for himself, he ends up sacrificing himself for his new friends. Just as with Max, the action is the same, but the motivation behind the action is different. And before we get to Furiosa's arc, if you're enjoying this video, please like and comment and subscribe so I can keep making videos like this. Thank you. Okay, so something similar happens with Furiosa's arc. She, along with the wives, want to no longer be at the Citadel and go to the Green Place.
You're not going back to him.
But by the end of the movie, they rush back towards the Citadel. That is where they want to be. So Furiosa and the wives end up at the Citadel, which is where they started. Once again, the end is the same, but the meaning is different. So now with this triptych of character arcs, we can easily understand what the movie is about. It's about freedom, about agency, and about having the power and ability to choose. It's about breaking free from authoritarian control. Each protagonist is forced to do something. Each rejects it. And by the end of the film, each of them do the very thing they were forced to do, but this time by choice, and obviously under different contexts and circumstances. Max gives his blood to Furiosa, Nux gives up his life for his friends, and Furiosa and the wives stay at the Citadel. Mad Max Fury Road is the type of movie that can be enjoyed on two levels. You can sit back and enjoy the action and the explosions, but if you care to look deeper, you'll find a richer thematic story that the movie is attempting to tell. And this thematic substance of the film never interferes with the plot but is seamlessly integrated into it. It reminds me of movies like Fight Club, or RoboCop, or Starship Troopers, or Aliens.
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh?
Movies that can be enjoyed by 10-year-olds and 25-year-olds on entirely different levels. And yes, I watched Aliens when I was 10 years old. It's not a big deal. I turned out okay. Probably. I think.